Let's have a look at the new releases of this week. The first week of November of 2024 sees here the new Robert Zemeckis film in Australian as well as American theaters. We also got My Dead Friend Zoe that stars Natalie Morales and Harris Morgan Freeman with an army vet that has a dead friend pop up in her mind. Looks interesting. Absolution, that's yet another Liam Neeson action movie. It also stars Ron Perlman, and like we talked about in news this week, Liam Neeson seems to be done with these types of action films. He's done a lot of them. Hopefully he's made his bank, but yeah, returned maybe to some other roles. Out in limited release, we are getting Steve McQueen's Blitz. We don't have a release date for Australia and Switzerland at this time, but I saw this one already. It's probably like his worst so far. The man cannot make like an actual bad movie, so I think it's still worth seeing, but we'll talk about that later on in the year. And then Juror number 2, like we thoroughly discussed and I got enraged by, the likely last movie from Clint Eastwood would only be showing in US theaters in less than 50 of them, likely about like 20 to 25. It does have a release date for the rest of the world that is a bit wider, although in some places like Australia, we don't have a release date yet. In Switzerland, that's January 2nd. Out on VOD this week from October 28th to the 3rd of November is Joker Folie. Deux. It's coming out on, I think I read that it wasn't even, maybe I clicked that wrong. No, it must be premium on demand. It would be such a like sting to them if they're like, no, we're gonna even release this on VOD, like cheaper. The premium VOD is like $20. VOD is like 7 to, I don't know, 5 to like $10. They're definitely gonna try to make some money off of this, but monumental flop of the year. Then we got Martha over on Netflix, a documentary about Martha Stewart from R.J. Cutler, who has made a lot of these like celebrity docs. He did the one for Billie Eilish as well. Then we got Time Cut over on Netflix. A teenage girl travels back to the early 2000s to stop a vicious killer from murdering her sister. That does sound kind of eerily familiar to some other premises, but instead of the 80s or the 90s, I guess we are getting nostalgia baited for the 2000s. Then we got The Apprentice over on Premium VOD, also Superman, the Christopher Reeve Story, as well as White Bird. Then over on Netflix, we get the second season of The Diplomat, and Olivia Rodrigo Guts World Tour will have its, festival tour movie thing over on Netflix too. And then out back into theaters for the 10th anniversary is the first John Wick film that will be screening in the States on November 3rd and 6th. The same goes for Australia, where that movie will also be playing for its 10th anniversary. And you are also getting the release of Saturday Night, which we will be discussing likely next week. We don't have a set release dates for Switzerland yet, but I think I can get my hands on a copy of it. You also are getting here from Robert Zemeckis as well as a 4K version of Godzilla 1954. So that might be one that's worth going out to theaters for if you want to see the big guy on the big screen. And then for the 20th anniversary of Shaun of the Dead, that had its screenings, I think, in the UK and the States already. A couple months later, you know, as usual, Australia also gets to see that on the big screen as well. Over in Switzerland, we are getting Black Box Diaries. We got the interview with Shiori Ito up on the channel already. It's my favorite documentary of the year. Potentially, like any documentary that I've ever seen, I can very much recommend it. So if you are based in Switzerland or in the States, it's already out. Go seek it out. It's definitely worth seeing, and hopefully we'll get an Oscar nomination down the line as well. Then we are getting Anora a couple of months ahead of you, Lachlan, because that doesn't come out until, I guess, the second Christmas day for you, Boxing Day, I think. So we'll have to wait on our in-detailed review for that one, although we did already cover it in our Venice recap. Not in our Venice recap, but we will be covering it in our Ghent recap that's upcoming and should be on the channel soon, yada yada. But then finally, Terrifier 3 and No Other Land will also be in Swiss theaters this week. So lots to see. We can recommend a bunch of them.